If you're the guy, do you do any of this stuff? And are you even aware that you're doing it? And for women, it is important to recognize these signs. Thank you so much for joining us again on Second Act TV. Once again, I'm so happy to welcome back Robert Manni, the author of The Guys Guide to Love and host of Guys Radio and TV. Robert, thank you for being here again.
Well, my pleasure.
Oh,
And here's to you with my Second Act TV mug.
Cheers. Well, thank you for bringing
Fantastic.
that
Get one,
up.
folks. You got to get this. I got the big one. And it's a terrific mug. And I love using it on a daily basis.
Thank you. And it does help support our channel. So go to the website. I appreciate it. Keep the content coming. Got some great content for you today. At least I hope you think so. We recently did a video with Treva on 7 signs of an insecure woman and why men need to be aware of this and avoid insecure women. So today we're going to do just the opposite. Got a lot of comments on, well, why don't you do something about insecure men? So here we go. What is it about insecure men and what do women need to know? Why is this important?
Why is it important? Well, listen, everybody's insecure, particularly nowadays. But with dating, supposed to be a fun sport, but it can be tough. And a lot of women have their lists, and a lot of guys are like, I'm not sure what is expected of me anymore. How do I define myself? What are women really looking for? Do they need us? So that creates an underlying insecurity just going into the dating parameters, if you will. So it's tough out there.
Also, the overarching issue is that it drains, eventually can drain your insecurity or drain your confidence. I mean, insecurities are a big thing to watch out for. So let's talk about some of the specific ones, some of the specific. First one here. This is a great one. Generalizing and criticizing basically all women, lumping all women into a category, all women this, all women that.
Well, I think too often we make generalizations without even knowing it, just based on our conditioning, where you say, oh, women are like this and guys are like that. Nobody wants to be generalized. A woman wants to feel special, as she should be, particularly if you're somebody you want to make an impression on and hopefully date. You don't want to just paint her as women and you're all the same.
For me, that's a huge red flag. Anytime I hear all women, or for that matter, from women, all men, because you're judging them through a filter of your own disappointments. I mean, all women are not the same. All men are not the same. I think that's a big signal to both sexes that if you hear that, you may want to put a halt on this person. And if you do that, why are you saying that? Because it does not come across in a good way whatsoever. And we hear it in the comments all the time. I always find that interesting. It's like, these are people who you need to heal. You need to get over this. You're stuck somewhere. Number 2 here, he one-ups everything. Now that goes for both sides too. The one-uppers are just a pain in the butt.
Well, we all know somebody I call him a topper. And we all know somebody who's a topper, and we all do it probably at some times. And it's a sign of insecurity, frankly, to be a topper, because there's no need for you to do that. So if you're a guy, I would advise and suggest that if a woman comes up with something like, okay, she's run a marathon and you've run 3, you don't have to make her feel like she's not up to your standard because you ran 3 and she ran 1. So I would if you have a topper thought in mind, hold it back. And don't put it out there, particularly if it's somebody new that you want to impress, that you want to hopefully date. I would just know that you have that, okay, I've done 3, check for me. She's done 1. That's great. Most of the women you're going to meet haven't run a marathon. So if you run 3 and she's run 1, you both run marathons. That's a good thing.
I know, it always amazes me when somebody, either way, but I think it's especially insecure if men do it, that, you bring something up and right away, oh yeah, I was there 4 weeks, I mean, there's like something more that you did. Saturday Night Live had a great character that did that really showed how annoying this is. It's funny, your example, because I have run a marathon, and then I've had guys, oh yeah, well, me too, I run. So, well, let me ask you how many you ran versus
3.
Actually. Oh, that's funny. I didn't know you did that. Did you know I ran one?
I did, yes.
Oh, all right. Never mind. Never mind. I don't think our viewers care about that. But yeah, the one upper, yeah, just don't.
Why?
You just
Yeah,
come across as
yeah.
annoying. Exactly. You can dish it out, but you can't take it. Oh my God, do I not like people like that? Go ahead.
Well, I actually find I'd rather have somebody, a woman, make fun of me than criticize me and try to fix me. Because that just never, it seems to, from my own personal experience, I've had a lot of situations where a woman will tell me, always trying to improve me, which I understand the intention, but over time, and I think a lot of guys would agree, they just like, okay, in terms of dishing it out, the less I can really dish it out and I can take it too. But a lot of people they can't dish it out. They just don't have the quips, and they can't take it because they don't like to be criticized or made fun of. So I think you have to really be careful when you're dealing with different people, whether it's a woman or a man. But particularly if it's a guy, you don't want to make fun of the woman you want to date.
A big point here is that you can dish it out but not take it. So if you're the one that likes to, throw in one here or there, and I'm kind of like that, but Paul is like that, but we can laugh at ourselves. But that's a huge red flag to me when somebody, can dish it out, but they can't take it. Huge sign of insecurity that will eventually, I think, become an issue in a relationship. So
Absolutely. There's a lot of people who can't take it, and that doesn't mean they wouldn't be a good partner and all of that. You just need to be aware of it.
one that goes kind of along with that, negging. That's a term I just recently learned too, but the example of negging, like, oh, you're prettier, you'd be prettier if you smiled a lot more.
It's kind of passive aggressive, and I think it goes back to the book that was written about 10, 15 years ago. The term negging came up, which was used as a kind of a maneuver, if you will, to make the woman feel off balance, off kilter, so you could get the upper hand. And it really is kind of a passive aggressive way. Like, hey, you'd look really great if you worked out more. You look great, but you look really great if you worked out more or something. So the woman's, of course, going to be insecure about that. Like, oh, he thinks I'm out of shape or I'm not good enough. So I don't know if that gets you anywhere. If you're a guy, you want to inspire her. Maybe what you're saying is true, but there's got to be a better way. Like, how about let's go to the gym together? Be proactive, make it positive. If you give that little dig, that women are sharp too. They're going to pick up on that. And I made a generalization there, but I think it's a positive one that women are pretty intuitive when it comes to like things that guys are saying.
Well, yeah, some of us are, some of us aren't, perhaps. But that's part of the problem, is that we don't want to see this, or we allow this to happen. And negging, yeah, those passive aggressive comments, that is not going anywhere good. Again, a big red sign. And if you could point it out to them and, you know what, you're right, I did do that, I'm sorry,
Mhm.
that's good. But otherwise, that's almost a narcissistic maneuver, I think.
And it's interesting that that was used, and maybe it still is used as a technique by some guys to make the woman feel to doubt herself.
Yes.
Why do you want to do that? This isn't about, dating and finding a partner isn't about getting the upper hand. It's about common ground. It's about shared values. It's about enjoying each other. So I think you got to take a step back, guys, and say, okay, where am I coming from with this? Do I want to just get over on this woman, or do I want to be her friend and her partner and somebody that really relates to me?
Here's another good one that we probably talk about forever: height insecurities. I mean, this is one that, yeah, there's some real insecurities and perhaps some valid. I don't know what, let's talk about that. Men who are insecure about their height.
Well, it's interesting, Silka, that studies have shown that taller guys actually, in an aggregate, earn more than shorter guys. So there's also the fact that some women, not all, prefer a guy to be like at least 6 feet, let's say. And if you're not quite 6 feet, then you've got to overcome that. You got to get two checks to overcome that negative check. And so a lot of guys, they've been entrained by our culture to become insecure about their sight. If you're a guy and you're 5'5", 5'6", unless you're, a big movie star, which a lot of them are, a lot of the guys are on the shorter side, you have an uphill battle with a lot of women, not all women. I know they talk about now the short kings and all of that. I don't quite get where that's coming from, but there's a praise for shorter guys, which I think is good. I'm kind of myself in the middle. I'm like just 5'10". So I wish I was 6'2" sometimes, but it is what it is. And if you have a big enough personality, you can overcome your height. And I don't mean a big personality being obnoxious, but I mean being comfortable in your own skin. And women will pick, in my opinion, women, and I'm generalizing again, will pick up on that self-confidence, not arrogance, but self-confidence and comfort in who you are. And that's a turn on regardless of your height.
I 100% agree with everything you said. You do think about that. For some reason, taller is better than shorter. And I don't know, maybe we were wired that way for protection back in the caveman days. I don't know. But yeah, that's a real thing. However, if you have an insecurity about it, that just comes through, as you said, Robert, a much bigger turnoff than
Mm-hmm.
than anything else. So this is one to think about. Is a height insecurity really holding you back by the way that you're handling it? So I don't know. Good,
And
really,
for the
really.
women too, they just might say like, I dated a woman and she loved Daniel Day-Lewis. I said, why? She said he's got really long fingers. So I'm thinking about all the lists that some people have, usually women, sorry, and all the obscure random things that are on there. And how do you deal with that? So if a woman has in her head, he's got to be 6 feet to be the daddy of my baby, then what are you going to do about it? So I think both women and men have to step back and say, okay, if I'm a woman, what guys are going to meet my qualifications if those are my qualifications? And if you're a guy, if you're dealing with a woman that way, what do you want to do to try to overcome it or just walk? It's up to you. But you might run into this. The point is for guys, you're going to run into some of these built-in prejudices, and then you have to determine: do I want to show her that I'm more than that, or do you want to just say punt?
Well, you definitely don't want to show an insecurity about it, because
Right.
that's the end then.
Mhm.
So like I said, it's this is something we can talk about for a long time, because it does involve just looking at what your expectations are, whether they're
Right.
realistic or not, and throw those lists away. That we've talked about that ad nauseum as well. Here's another good one: making you feel too much, meaning that he says things like, oh, I don't know what you see in me, I'm not good enough for you. That at first that can come across as somewhat endearing, but that's also not a good place to go.
I agree 100%. Self-deprecation. I mean, the world does enough to depreciate all of us. Why talk about that? Because it comes across to me also as kind of false. And that what's the agenda behind putting yourself down? Why are you doing that? Does that make you more lovable or something? I don't know. I don't like it though. And I don't think it's a turn on to women, but I could be wrong. Maybe some women like that. I don't know.
No, I don't think any. Well, let me talk for all women. I'm starting to realize that the generalization is pretty easy to do.
We're both doing it. But that's what, hey, listen, you're the woman, I'm the guy on this show. So
The self-deprecating, yes, at first can be really funny, and sometimes it is funny, but if you keep it on and on and on, you just get sick and tired of those people. And it absolutely shows an insecurity, and it's almost like you're asking for some sort of positive feedback. I don't know what you're
right.
doing,
It's
but it's
it's weak.
yeah, it's weak, and don't do that. Finally here.
Don't do that. I love it.
What?
Don't do that. I love that.
Okay, finally here. This is fun too. Getting loud around other men, or just in my, I would say just people in general. That sometimes you have men who are, I mean, they just get loud for no reason.
I agree 100%. I can tell you I haven't had alcohol in 5 years and I didn't have an issue or anything. I just stopped. I don't like going to bars or anything or with big crowds because, in my opinion, alcohol, I'm witnessing it now, can fuel some loudness. And it just comes out of people that are repressed or whatever. and they're cutting loose. So I get it. But there are people who are loud just to begin with. And I find that incredibly annoying because what is it? It's I need to be heard. So I'm going to speak louder than other people. And, so you have to say it is what it is. If you're a guy, I would turn down the volume a little bit. If you really want to connect, you're better off speaking on getting in, kind of matching the tone with the person you're speaking with. And if you're a woman, you have to determine, wow, this guy's pretty loud. Do I want to listen to that all the time?
Yeah. Well, you're in a mode of always proving yourself
Yeah.
somehow. And I know a few people like that. You just want to tell me, you would be so much more interesting if you just shut up. I
Yeah.
mean, there's to me, it's a huge turnoff when somebody just talks about themselves, and especially if it's in some kind of competitive way with other men or other people in a room.
Yeah.
So really think about that. Do you do this? Because it has insecurity written all over it. So, again, why is this important? I think this conversation today, and then I'll throw it over to you, is both, if you're the guy, do you do any of this stuff, and are you even aware that you're doing it? Because awareness is the first step to maybe making it better. And for women, it is important to recognize these signs, because we do tend to get sucked into relationships where we then want to please, and that's a bad thing too, people pleasing. But insecure men can drain you, absolutely drain you, and strip at your confidence. So I think that's why this is an important conversation. Robert, I'll throw it over you to close.
Real quick, one, if you're a guy, just be yourself.
Mhm.
And that's because yourself is going to come through ultimately. So might as well just be yourself from the beginning. Secondly, I think we were both somewhat guilty of this, is that we make generalizations. I made generalizations about women. You made some generalizations about women and guys, as I did. So everybody does that to a certain extent. So I think we all need to be mindful that we don't want to paint everybody with the same brush based on their sex. So we're learning, and we learned here during this conversation. So I think it's all good.
Yeah, no, I do too. I'll be interested to see the comments, to hear the comments, as we always, as we always do. Robert, thank you. Yes, and don't forget to go to the website secondact.tv. Look at our new merch page, and pick up Robert's book, The Guy's
Absolutely.
Guide
Thank
to
you.
Love, and check the show notes for Guys Radio and TV, now all over the world with UK Health Radio. Robert, thank
Yep.
you for your time as always, and we'll see you again soon on Second Act TV.
Thank you, Silka.